Hi, what does repent mean? Many people will say that it means to turn and forsake sin. But if that was true, there are several times in the Bible where that definition would not make any sense at all. For instance, in Genesis 6:6, the Bible tells us that God repented. Did God turn from sin? Of course not. Let's look at his word. You'll be very surprised. There are 5 totally different words that have been translated to the word repent in our translations. Each of these words have a different meaning, yet they were all translated to repent. This happened during the late 4th century with the Latin Vulgate translation. The Vulgate was largely edited by Jerome. The Latin Vulgate functioned as the Catholic Church's de facto standard translation during the Middle Ages. This translation took these 5 different words and translated them all to the Latin word proenetete, which was later on translated in the English Bibles to repent. So if you see the word repent in the English Bible, you have to look at the word in the original language to understand the meaning of it. Don't assume that it means whatever an English dictionary tells you that it means. Let's take a look at each of these 5 words and their meaning. As you know, the Old Testament was largely written in Hebrew and the New Testament was written in Greek. There's a few passages in the Old Testament written in Aramaic, but there's no translation to repent in these passages. Let's start with the Old Testament. There are 2 different Hebrew words that were translated to repent. The first one is nacham. The meaning of nacham is regret or to be sorry about. We can find this as an example in Genesis 6:6. This was right before Noah's flood. God regretted that he had made mankind and it grieved him. Imagine if you got married and the marriage was a disaster and you regret having gotten married and you're very sad. Now, in the Hebrew, you would use the word nacham there. In the Old Testament, many times God repented or didn't repent, as is written in the English translation. The word there every time is nacham. Then there is the word that's used many times in the Old Testament, and that's shub. It was correctly translated 600 times to the words turn or return. But for some reason, 3 times it was translated to the word repent. Those 3 times make absolutely no sense why they decided to translate it to repent. But at least they got it right 600 times. Now, let's look at the 3 Greek words that were translated to repent in the New Testament. The first word is metanoia. The vast majority of times, or 34 times, when you read the word repent in the New Testament, the Greek word is metanoia. Metanoia means to change your mind or to reconsider. I made a short video on this word, on how the word was used in the Greek language. It only means to change your mind. It is neutral. It could be good or could be bad. For instance, if someone convinces another person to rob a bank and they change their mind and rob the bank, you would use the word metanoia in the Greek there, even though it's bad. You really want to watch this short video about that. I'll show you real examples how the word was used in the Greek. One thing is very clear, that if you see the word repent in the English Bible in conjunction with salvation, the word is always metanoia. So it would just mean to change your mind. The thing to change your mind about is determined by the context. But in case of the gospel, it would be changing your mind from unbelieving to believing the gospel. Then there's the second word, which is metamelomai. This word is found 5 times in the New Testament, and it means to regret. It is not used anywhere in conjunction with salvation. Then the last Greek word, which was translated to repent in the New Testament, is ametanelotos. That word is only found twice in the New Testament. It means irrevocable, but that's only found in the King James Version translation. Now, with each of these words in the Greek, you have conjugations. What that means is that the word is in different forms, like we would have several forms for to walk, like walk, walks, walked, walking, etc. The same in the Greek. I didn't differentiate between each of these conjugations here though. So you can see that that is the reason why there is so much confusion about this word. Imagine if one were to translate the word hammer, screwdriver, saw, chisel, and knife all to the word paintbrush. You would get a huge confusion, wouldn't you? That's what happened with this word repent. It should have never been translated to repent. Now, if you want to know what words was used in the original language for any word, I would suggest that you watch this video to see how you can get a free downloadable app for your Android cell phone. If you have an iPhone, you could use a Strong's Concordance there to find out which of the 5 words was used, or you can use a good interlinear Bible. I did find an interlinear Hebrew and Greek Bible on the iPhone App Store, but you would need to know how to pronounce the Hebrew and Greek letters. Hebrew letters are quite different. I hope this helps. God bless you. Bye-bye.